Okay, here are the FBI instructions that are given by FBI. Director of Counterterrorism in Canberra. They're very secret. They don't give their identities out. Could I present the Michelle Pogmore case to the FBI in New Jersey, New York, covering the case details. Michelle interviewing Michelle Pogmore's father. Or some of the details covering Michelle Pogmore's father. Michelle Pogmore's brother, Craig Pogmore. She was filmed during the day, walking through the mall. And the second person that she was with. Published a couple of years ago, blah, 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 back from 2004 till current. About Craig Pogmore, a very long time, don't know where he went. About Michelle Pogmore's mother, about Badar. Video clips of her and news bulletins covering Michelle Pogmore. Michelle Pogmore's her case is up on billboards in the United States. It's a very big case in the United Kingdom as well. Michelle Pogmore. And she travelled to the United States. That's where she got a USA jumper from. They're very busy there. 2 FBI agents were killed. Very, very sad. It's terrible. The 2 FBI agents were killed in the line of duty there, serving a warrant. What time he's going to contact me. Blah, blah, blah. You can read from the correspondence there, from my FBI instructions, telling me to go out to the crime scene, take photos, details about the humidity, weather, feedback, relaying information. More than 150 photos I sent back from the crime scene to go to Mount Druitt Station and take some photos, which I'm still unable to do. I'm complaining about the police taking my work and saying I'm mental. And one of the first questions that he always asks is why the police said that I'm mental. I asked them to get me off, and he got instructions to go see graffiti on the back wall of the sports arena, go through the hospital, take some photos, including the area Michelle's body was discovered, what temperature and conditions. Go to the Mount Druitt train depot. And I kept telling him to get me off the depot. And excellent work, Harr, congratulating me on my work. Solved a lot of riddles there, was solved. And there wasn't any graffiti on the back end of the sports. Instructions on great work. I'm his eyes at the moment. Contact me at 9 p.m. tomorrow. Michelle traveled to the United States. Interesting. And she had USA top. She was. The witness is George Bush. And travelled with John Howard to the United States and got the USA on the top jumper. More details. 2 FBI agents were killed today. Very sad. Serving a warrant. Telling me to focus on Michelle Pogmore's case. Missing persons in Katoomba. They did all the missing persons cases in Katoomba. They have satellite tracking. You know, like the Chinese have their tracking? They have a similar thing in Australia where they can track everybody. So they could use a satellite technology, and they solved all the missing person cases. All the cases have been done by my boss, Director of Counterterrorism, Canberra, and my FBI instructions as such. Talking about approvals, map areas, sending me map details. How problems with dots indicate cases where sometimes dots on the satellite tracking indicate sometimes where the body is found, where they're no longer moving, it turns into a dot. Talking about some office equipment, getting approvals. I'm complaining all the time. And that's the FBI. We're the FBI. Joint National Security, Joint Enterprise Defence Infrastructure folder. So I've got the JEDI Joint Enterprise Defence Infrastructure contract. All the details are in the Joint Enterprise Defence Infrastructure Certification folder. It's a $10 billion contract, $1 billion a year. And a little bit about how it all started with the US Congress. The current state of Federal Information Technology Acquisition Reform Act by US Congress, December 19, 2014. The US Congress wanted to put all the cybersecurity problems into one cloud and deal with all the instructions. Memorandum of Distribution Cloud Computing. So that's a certification. Certified under the authority to direct and support a cloud initiative. It's all certified correct with all the certification for the cloud for my JEDI, for my work 100% correct. My JEDI Cloud meets cybersecurity policy standards, architecture, security controls, validation procedures with support of the National Security Agency CSS, using input from stakeholder JEDI components to ensure the preview complies with the applicable security configuration guides. Support cloud initiatives. DSA is releasing interim security guidance domain name requirements. The change allows public-facing websites. Oracle database supplemental procedures. Oracle's with Microsoft. They do the inner workings of the cloud. So the supplemental features procedures. They're very, it's a computer database management for all the computer tech buffs with all the details in there, how it all works. So with Oracle, a lot of people that critics, they say Oracle is not with Microsoft. Oracle, in fact, is with Microsoft for the cloud project. They do all the database, so they do the tracking. If you download it, send it, it has a callback home service, gives you reports of who downloaded it, who reviewed it, and all the rest is why it's on the cloud. Because with normal cybersecurity, you can't actually track it. The reason why everything's on the cloud, because it has a tracking capability, who printed it, who downloaded, who it's sent to. It has a report generated by each file. So rather than having going through reams and reams of following who's stealing what information from Russia or China, and having months and months to track each one, which has virtually become impossible. It has a report on each file that who has it and who accesses it, and the rest then easily contactable and can be managed very easily. The best practice guide for Department of Defense cloud mission owners. So it covers all the different ins and outs of best practices for anyone with a cloud. Okay, personally identifiable information, PII, cloud computing requirements. So any information that's collected about it, personal information, can't be collected by the National Security Agency or any spy agency. For example, if you go to the toilet 10 times and you have a bad day or something personal happens, you're not allowed to collect that sort of information. You need a certificate. So there's a certificate containing personally identifiable information, protected health information, because my health records are on there. So you need a certification for personally identifiable protected health information. Personally identified and health information are categorized as CUI. As such, PS must minimally be protected under level 4. So it's a level 4 category. So and my health records are on there. All my Director Harr Gunatilaka's, all my health records are on there. So I needed to be certified. So there's a certification allowing my health records to be on there. PII, so if something terrible happens, you're not allowed to collect that sort of information. If you have a bad day and something personal happens, for all my health records. Okay, in the Joint Enterprise Defence Infrastructure Certification folder, signals availability, Executive Order 12333, raw signals availability procedures. So all the ins and outs of conducting raw signals, how it should be placed in a shared IC of government capability, like a cloud environment, transferring the information to the IC element information systems available for information sharing, how it should be on a cloud environment, and by law for information sharings and how to conduct. And it gives us the authority to conduct signals intelligence, and we've got to put it on a cloud for sharing purposes. Signals intelligence. The JEDI Cloud Contract Steering Committee, a little bit about the FITARA and the Acquisition Advisory Council, removing barriers to cloud innovation, workforce cultural challenges, a little bit about the steering committee and the Memorandum of Executive Order. The information quality guidelines for maximum quality, objective utility, integrity of information disseminated by federal agencies. We require agencies to collect and create information in a way that supports public transparency as well as downstream security information, dissemination and processing by third parties include entrepreneur, state, local, tribal government, scientists, private sector shareholders, consolidated manner was responsible for quality data being disseminated, responsible for the quality of data being disseminated, strengths, weaknesses, analytical limitations, security requirements, and processing options. Guidelines for technology for allowing protected access to data has progressed significantly. New approaches to secure data access using cutting-edge technologies reduce the risk of re-identification and therefore mitigate certain privacy risks associated with providing such access. Risk reduction techniques. Request for correction. The disseminated information does not comply with agency guidelines. Department of Defense cloud computing security requirements for the security technical buffs. Defense Information Systems Agency. All work certified as 100% correct by the Defense Information Systems Agency in the certification folder of the JEDI Cloud. All comply with the National Defense Authorization Act. Fully aligned with the National Defense Strategy, United States of America, sharpening America's military capability. Everything, all our systems are all integrated and all aligned with the National Defense Strategy, which is global security. All national security all around the world, for nearly every country in the world. And finally, we have this revised edition of the JP2I Joint Intelligence reflects the current guidance for conducting joint and multinational intelligence activities across the range of military operations. This vital keystone publication forms the core of joint intelligence doctrine and lays the foundation for our forces' ability to fully integrate operations plans and intelligence into a cohesive team. The overarching constructive principles contained in this publication provide the common perspective from which to plan, execute joint intelligence operations in cooperation with our multinational partners, other US government agencies, and intergovernmental and non-governmental organizations. As our nation continues to evolve into the 21st century, joint intelligence organizations and capabilities will continue to evolve as our forces transform to meet emerging challenges. The guidance in this publication will enable current and future leaders, armed forces of the United States to organize, train, execute worldwide missions to counter threats posed by adaptive adversaries. I encourage all leaders to study and understand the doctrinal concepts and principles contained in this publication and to teach these to your subordinates. Only then will they be able to fully exploit the remarkable military potential inherent in our joint teams. To that end, I request to ensure the widest possible distribution of this keystone joint publication. I further request that you actively promote the use of all joint publications at every opportunity. Martin E. Dempsey, General, U.S. Army. Undercover Admiral Harr Gunatilaka ADCP, U.S. Navy, Naval Intelligence, 4-star Admiral, FBI. That's my news update. Received my news update from the U.S. Naval News Service.